I'm doing something really special this week. Have this friend, he's 83 years old, and his name's Olsen. He's been one of my longtime hunting buddies. And I was talking to him this summer and he said, you know, Randy, I think I've shot my last deer. And I said, not if I have anything to say about it, Ollie. So I called one of our mutual friends, Severinson, and I said, Neil, you know, if I get a break in my filming schedule, I'd love to get Ollie out to get another deer. So that's what this story is about.
Randy's always a joy to hunt with. I've been in a duck blind with him for several years. We always try to make a trip or two duck hunting. Always enjoyed hunting with him.
And so Ollie and Neil are coming out here tomorrow, and I'm excited about it. It's the one hunt of the entire year that is just purely nothing but fun.
Randy and Ollie and I have hunted waterfowl several times together. This is the first time I think we've all been together in a big game hunt. I just don't know how it could get any better.
So I'm gonna just take my sled, make a big loop. It's about a 2-mile loop around here, and just fresh snow, see where the tracks are and see where the best place will be to put Ollie. Have the sun at his back and hopefully the wind in his face. Today it was about getting ready for Ollie's hunt, getting ready for Neil's hunt. Neil has a doe tag, Ollie has a doe tag, and Ollie also has a buck tag. Ollie being 83, Neil being 68. I'm the young chicken, I'm 47. I like this spot, it's a good setup. The deer come through here. It gives Ollie shooting lanes. None of the shots are gonna be more than 90 to 100 yards. Ollie lives near this big waterfowl area, and in the summer he goes out and builds blinds on all this public land for anyone to use. And he knows if he's the first one there, he gets to use it, but if someone beats him there, they get to use it. It made me kind of laugh as I'm building a blind for a guy like Ollie, who's built more blinds for more public hunters than anyone I know. Trying to get something big and sturdy that'll give him a shooting brace in front there. But Ollie, I built you one hell of a blind. I hauled big, long logs, blown down cottonwood trees. If you can't kill a deer out of that blind, you're gonna hear about it from me. Well, I think the blind is secure. It's in a good location, sun at our back, crosswind. Now I just need to go find where the deer are going, so that tomorrow when Ollie and Neil get here, I'll be able to chase them right to them. This hunt here, it is an on your own adventure. We're here on our own. But it's a little different than most of our shows in that we didn't draw some great tag. We're not on huge tracts of public land. Where we're at is on a piece of private property. Look at this, huge scrape right here. He scraped that out since it snowed a day ago. This landowner here was very gracious to let us come and hunt here. I've been hunting here for many years. I come here and I shoot whitetail does. And the landowner says, Randy, as many does as you and your buddies and your family shoot, feel free to shoot a buck if you want. And for that landowner to say, look, bring Ollie out here. Set him up down in the cottonwoods there and get him a deer, get him a buck, get him a doe. Do whatever you guys want. That's a special type of situation. Tracks and trails everywhere. That's a good sign. I'm excited. I worried I'd pick a spot and the deer hadn't been in here, but it looks good for Ollie and Neil. I think that's a good spot to have that blind. I'm not gonna push this too hard because I don't want to scare the deer out, but I'm gonna keep going and see what I find. Today is one of those hunts I looked forward to since we started talking about it. I called Ollie, called Neil, and said, you guys meet me, and we'll go into this place that I have permission, and I've already set up the blinds, everything's ready. Let's see if we can shoot some deer. So what are you shooting today, Ollie?
What am I shooting?
Yeah, what do you want to shoot? We got, you got an A tag that gives you either a buck or a doe, right?
Yeah.
And did you get another doe tag?
I got a doe tag, okay. And I got a buck tag.
Okay. Friends like Neil and Ollie don't come along every day. For me to be able to come out here and share something like this with them, It's what hunting is. It's what the whole thing of hunting means to me. You know, you told me you don't get around good anymore.
Well, I don't get around like I used to.
He meant the bars.
Oh. And imagine what you got around like when you were a spring chicken.
We got out here real early. Randy had been around yesterday and put together this little scratch blind. Even had two folding lawn chairs for us to sit in. I've never had service like that.
Good luck. If I hear more than 3 shots to fill 3 tags, you guys are gonna hear about it. Because every time I miss a duck or a goose, I gotta live with that from you guys for about a year or 2.
It was a cool blind. It was hunkered down into it. It was nice and warm and up against the logs and everything. And yeah, it was a nice blind.
I left Neil and Ollie in the morning. I said, I'll be doing loops, running back and forth, up and down, cross and over. And I'll be back around 3 o'clock or so. And as quick as I left them, there were deer everywhere I went. Dang it. The buck just got out that way, right in front of me. They don't. We're seldom want to go the direction I want.
Randy, being the friend that he is, plunked Ollie and I, the old guys, into the lawn chairs. And he made a series of very long, wide loops. He walked very far, he walked very slow, and I think he had them moving. He knows how to do it. They weren't running through.
Saw one buck down in the creek bottom that was just going the wrong way. He was all the way across the creek, kind of obscured in the brush, and I just didn't want to push him because I want to keep him on this property and hope that he keeps moving up and down the creek so Ollie can get a crack at him. I came here and I did it because this is a hunt for Neil and Ollie. It's not for me. I'm under specific orders from my elders, Ollie and Neil, to fill my 2 doe tags and my buck tag. I just don't feel right doing that until they filled their tags. .338 yards. I'm not gonna take a shot at a doe from 338 yards. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back out to these other fields and see if I can move something to Ollie and Neil. I was trying to figure out how do I get around these deer and push them back over to the cottonwoods to Ollie. But deer being deer, one doe that I hadn't seen was off to my left, and when she saw me, whoom, she took off. Ended up, I think, 4 does and that buck. They all took off and they went exactly the wrong way. I couldn't have screwed that up any worse if I tried, but he is a really nice buck. He's probably 20 inches wide and he's really tall. I think he's only a 4x4, but a super nice buck.
Yeah, we sneaked in here and plunked down in this blind, and I thought, well, it's going to be comfortable if nothing else. It wasn't very long before we saw a deer up on the hill, and he kept coming closer and closer and closer. Finally, he got over across the creek and up on the side hill, and was coming side hill in there. And I think I hit him.
When you squeezed, it looked to me like he hunched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you say? We could take a look. By golly, I dumped him. Oh, that's a dandy. He's no real monster, but he's a nice. He'll be good eating buck.
Within an hour of being in the hunt, Ollie's already got his buck tag filled.
I might be 82 years old, but there's nothing wrong with my eyeballs.
I couldn't ask for any more. The first hour of the first day of hunting, I heard you shoot.
He's up there.
Huh?
He's way up there.
He?
Yeah, nice buck.
Was it that 4x4 that came through here? Yes! Everything comes together. Ollie makes a great shot on a buck. And from what I can see by looking at the footage, Ollie got a little excited, and when we were telling Ollie to wait for the camera, he got a little excited, and I think he shot before we had a good focus on the camera. But you know what? That's just the way it is.
Who's got my tag? I thought I'd give it to you.
No, you said that you would hold on to it because I'd lose it.
Oh, you not heads. I think you're me now. Somebody's got that tag and I ain't got it.
It could be right in there.
Right, could be right in there too.
You know, after I came back here that morning and I saw that Ollie had filled his tag, and they'd already been giving me a hard time about all the deer I passed on the day I was over here scouting. Ollie, he's like, now sport, you make sure if you see something, you shoot it. And I still didn't feel quite right. But I made a big loop out here, got out on the edge of these beaver flowages and saw a doe. Well, those guys said they wanted a doe. They got a doe. I filmed it by myself. I'm gonna see if I can climb over this fence and cross these two creeks and go see what I got there. Somewhere in there. There it is. Said, well, Ollie wants me to shoot him. He wants some meat. So I shot a doe.
Well, my former best friend, Ollie, he talks about it's nice to have friends you can rely on and you can trust your best friends and stuff. Well, they wanted me to try to shoot a deer this afternoon.
I see a deer.
Ollie handed me the gun that he had used to kill his nice buck this morning. I asked him, Ollie, is this gun loaded? He said, yes.
There's a buck. There's a buck.
Hey, buck!
Shoot him.
I can't shoot a buck.
Oh.
I thought you told me there was one in the chamber.
No, I put another shell in.
Had a good, easy shot, potentially. Squeezed the trigger, and the gun went click. Thanks to my former best friend, Ollie Olsen.
I should have checked it.
Huh?
I should have checked it. But I thought you told me there was one in the chamber.
I don't think he was 30 yards away, was he? And he pulled her up, shot. When he squeezed her off, it went click. And then I get blamed for it, you know.
Came back, learned the whole story that there'd been a doe here. Neil had shot, but there was no round in the chamber. All right, I heard a shot.
You got everything you need for the program. You got the hit, the click, and the miss.
Hold on. The hit.
Yeah.
So you hit a deer. Heard that whole story. Would have loved to have been here for that.
That's what happens when there's no bullet in the chamber.
Huh?
When your favorite friend hands you a gun and you ask him, is it loaded? And he says yes, and you don't check it.
Did you tell him it was loaded?
Sure it was loaded.
It just wasn't in the chamber. That was his
I
explanation.
thought that's the way you wanted them. No,
That's how we want them.
no, no in the
Nothing
chamber.
in the chamber.
That's right.
Well, how many deer do I got to run by here before we get one killed?
How many have you run so far? And I'll tell you how many more we need.
All right. Oh man, I'm sweating like a hillbilly at a hoedown right now.
I've never seen a place to hunt deer like this. I've never seen as many deer in Never seen such nice herds and nice bucks.
See him? Yep, she's down.
Yeah.
So I keep working up the creek bottom and I hear some shots. Neil's got a doe laying here.
I think that's a good eating piece of meat.
I still don't know if I hit it the first shot. I wasn't sure, so I tried the second shot. I only see one hole, so I only hit her once, but I missed her once too. That makes me the miss king, and Ollie will never let me forget this.
Yesterday afternoon, I make this big loop all the way down to the property boundary and start working my way back. And I'm down in the creek bottom, and I come back up out of there and I look, and there's a buck and a doe bedded. So knowing that they've already had their opportunities and that Ollie had filled his buck tag, I felt a little more comfortable shooting at that point.
Got a buck right up on this bench here. I'm gonna sneak up, see if I can shoot him.
I'm thinking, wow, that's a nice buck. But, oh man, I don't really want to film myself. All I have is this little handy cam and the wind's blowing and it's hard to keep this little tripod stable.
Easy shot, bedded broadside, 248 yards.
And I watch it, and I watch it. I said, you know, this buck is just tempting me too much. Took the safety off, put it on him. And all I heard was boom, smack. The buck's laying like that. He didn't wiggle, he didn't flinch, nothing.
That, my friend, is what happens when Mr. Howa introduces 180 grains of trophy ponded tip to Mr. Buck.
Oh yeah. Look at that buck. That is a dandy. I shot a buck, Neil shot a doe, Ollie had already filled his buck tag. The day is a success. By the time it's all said and done yesterday, we got 4 deer.
Certainly it's nice when you are able to harvest an animal, and especially these whitetails, which are so good eating. But just to see the animals, to see the country, to have the experience, the camaraderie with good friends, I would have enjoyed this thoroughly if we hadn't fired a shot.
And to see those two sitting there looking real smug, knowing they've had a good time, I know what that look means with Ollie and Neil.
Well, this has certainly been a great time with Randy and Neil. It's something that I'll remember always. And it's been a real good trip. It's been one of the highlights of my older age.
Hunting in America is about family, friends, and sharing the experience. And this is the grandest of grand hunts that you could ask for.
There ain't enough scotch to last till spring.
There isn't enough scotch in Scotland to last you until spring.
That's kind of an outfitter I like. You know? What the hell did I do with that tag? No, I know where I shoot them, but I don't know where they die.